Chinese people and Taiwanese people, how are they different? Oh boy, do I get that question a whole lot. And to show you some of these differences, culturally speaking, my friend Miss Zhou came to visit me here in Taiwan, and she went and broke just about every single rule in Taiwan that you can, which really surprised me for a lot of different reasons that I'll get into in this video. Now, why I'm kind of conflicted with this video whether I want to release it or not, because I know it's going to cause a huge discussion just like in my last video. And being a YouTuber, you know, we film almost everything we do, and so we get the power of retrospect. We're able to go back and watch videos and see things again, and you start to catch things that you didn't necessarily catch when you filmed them. So a lot of the times you realize that you're just not as nice of a person as you think you are. And that's why I started off this video by making fun of my friend's hat.
Yeah, that's your first time. I'm with my 63-year-old Ai here. I found it funny when you were like, so many scooters parked outside and no one steals them. Oh yeah? Let's see if you know how to... Oh wow. This is called making a line, or queuing up.
So as you can see, she was having none of that and went up the left side of the escalator to get all the way to the front of the line, which you are allowed to do in Taiwan. That's not considered rude. I just found it really funny how she just refuses to line up. And why don't Chinese people line up? Well, I think that comes in large part just due to the population. China has a ton of people, and so they don't really line up for things. They tend to just kind of get to the front as fast as possible. Sometimes where there are situations where you have to line up, like buying a train ticket, they have these like stainless steel guardrails that I set up so that people have to form a line. And even then, I remember when I was in China, it was my first year, I didn't speak very much Chinese. I was trying to get a train ticket from Kaifeng to Zhengzhou, and I was having a hard time explaining to the lady at the counter what I wanted, and it took me too long, and so the people behind me just started reaching over my shoulder and ordering their own train tickets, and she was giving them what they needed, and I was just kind of forced out of the line. And I had to go all the way to the back of the line, wait, and then get to the front of the line. Same thing kept happening like 2 or 3 times, and it ended up taking me like 2 hours just to get a train ticket. And that was a lesson learned. You just kind of have to get there first, otherwise it's gonna take you way too long to do anything. There's just too many people.
Making a line, making a queue.
That's right.
Oh yeah, we don't do that in mainland.
No.
Yeah, we don't.
You can try, you can push and shove your way into the train.
Oh yeah, people here like 好自觉哦. They train, they will train.
They don't.
Are you serious?
Train. They don't practice lining up. It's just people are considerate.
Sorry, teaching primary for a long time.
Do they train to line up?
No, it's fast. It's like a metro.
It's not it's totally different. You have Gaotie in China.
But it's not like this.
No, this is a Japanese one.
Oh.
The #1 rule on a Taiwanese train is to be very quiet.
Well, in China, high-speed train people don't make that much noise. But train, it's a different story.
Train is the loudest place in China.
It's here, the train also
Quiet.
Quiet train.
Everywhere is quiet. It's clean.
But it's not that comfortable. In China.
You haven't even sat down yet.
Can I like?
Yeah.
Obviously the HSR was a lot more comfortable than she thought because she slept the entire way up to Taipei.
How was your first Taiwanese Gaotie experience?
It's good. Very clean and very fast. Oh, it has Wi-Fi, which is good. Because in mainland, the Gaotie don't have Wi-Fi. It's free.
What'd you say?
I think here look very developed.
This looks developed, but Taichung doesn't.
Here, you look very developed.
And you look like you're 100 years old. Or 6 months old.
I don't think people will have this here.
Ama will have it. Ama and Ai. Did you notice that you didn't have to put your bag through security?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that in Taiwan.
Oh yeah, right. True. UK doesn't have to.
No, China's the only place I think that has.
Which means make sure you're safe.
Sure. And again, you have to line up. 你要排队。
我这不是在排队吗？
Mhm.
这个
Yep.
Yep.
This is their 排队 line.
对啊，我这样排队啊。
This is Taiwan, okay?
Yeah, we will make a queue.
第一个是排队，第二个是 shut the fuck up.
这上地铁也很安静吗？
They don't say 地铁 in Taiwan.
那他们叫什么？
I forget. I still call it 地铁. And then everyone in Taiwan yells at me because it's not a 地铁. No. Blue, this blue one.
Why?
That one was for old people. But you're Ai, so maybe you can sit there. In China, you have these seats, but just no one gives a shit.
Why did she sit in the priority seating when she could have sat anywhere else on the train? Well, like she explained, they have priority seating in China, but nobody really cares about it there. I have seen some Chinese people give up their seat for someone who is elderly. It has happened, but for the most part, again, there's so many people on the trains that you just take a seat wherever you can. You know, every country is different. You can let me know in the comments what the culture is around seating in your country. Some countries, people will sit in priority seating if the train is packed, and then if they see someone get on the train who clearly needs the priority seat, then they'll get up and let them sit there. There are other countries where no one will sit in priority seating no matter how packed the train is because they know that that seat is for people who need it. I know in Taiwan they take seat priority rather seriously, and even in non-priority seating, like just the regular seats, people will stand up and give their seat to someone who is elderly. Do be careful of this if you're a foreigner and you want to be nice and give your seat up to someone who looks like they're old, because if that person doesn't feel like they're old enough to be given a seat, you might get yelled at. Speaking from experience. Sometimes it's hard for foreigners to tell how old a Taiwanese person actually is. In Taiwan, just make sure that priority seating is respected because they do care very much about this. But in China, they don't care at all.
You're getting so good at 排队. Yeah, you have to 排队 for everything. You want to drink from a new tea shop? 你要排队. You want to take the gaotie? 你要排队. You want to go to a restaurant? 排队. You want to be my girlfriend? 要排队. Looks like Hong Kong. Taipei rains all the time.
Just like you.
Yep.
London.
Welcome to Ximen. You want to cross the street?
But it's red light.
排队. In Taipei, it's better than Taichung, the buildings?
Yes, it is. At least you see, that's Taiwan happen.
Do you want to try a Wawa tea? Put the money in, and then you use the ball, and then when you're finished, you push the button to catch one. Oh, you suck.
You, go. Good luck. Oh my god! 1000块耶!
There you go. So come to a New Mian restaurant, and what do we need to do before we eat?
排队.
What are you eating?
Taiwanese noodles.
So you don't have this in China?
We have similar, but different. Taste a little bit different.
Try it. It's probably the most famous Taiwan dish. They're very proud of this.
兰州拉面.
不是牛肉面. 干嘛?
什么干嘛?
大陆人. No Taiwanese person puts their chopsticks into their noodles like that.
Just like this, no?
Yeah, nobody does that.
Why?
不礼貌.
Why is not polite?
Because it's like a funeral. It looks like incense.
Good to know.
Yeah.
No, 兰州拉面比较好吃.
Okay. You didn't try the noodles.
It's the same.
No, this one is in a different soup. Oh my god. This is Taiwan's most special dish. No, they're all very quiet when they eat. Remember, 第一个是排队，第二个是安静。Shut the f***. 好，凤梨酥。
这个好吃，这个比大陆的好吃。
Oh, there we go.
这个到处都有，大陆也有很多，但是这个确实比较好吃。
这个比较好吃，这个比较好吃，对啦。And you're from Guangdong. You're not even like northern people. You speak so thick.
But people cannot tell I'm from Guangdong.
Everyone can tell you're Chinese.
Anyways,
I'm not even a native speaker. I can hear your accent.
What do you mean my accent?
这个好吃. You think people can't hear that?
Now this one shocked me a lot. So like I explained, you don't put your chopsticks directly in your food sticking out. You don't do this because it looks like incense during a funeral, and so I don't know if it's considered rude per se. Maybe it is. I think it's more inappropriate, but it might be rude. I don't know. Taiwanese people can let me know in the comments below. But it shocked me because I thought that this rule came from China. Taiwan is heavily influenced by Chinese culture, and so I thought a lot of these little rules that Taiwan has came from China, and maybe I'm wrong, or maybe Chinese people don't follow that rule anymore because China and Taiwan went on two very different paths when it comes to following Chinese traditions and cultures. I mean, they are two different places with two different cultures, so that makes sense, but that one really shocked me, and I think I probably could have explained it to her in a nicer way, but I was just like so surprised. And honestly, okay, this is where I feel really conflicted with this video. On one hand, I really want to release it because I'm really interested in cultural differences and all of the things that come along with that. Why are we the way we are? It's a big focus of this channel. But on the other hand, I felt kind of embarrassed, I think, walking around with a Chinese person in Taiwan, mostly because she was just, I don't know, she was just breaking all these rules that seem so obvious to me and other Taiwanese people. But then again, who am I to feel embarrassed or offended on behalf of Taiwanese people? I'm not Taiwanese. This isn't my culture. This isn't my country. She should just be able to do whatever she wants. I mean, if she was American or Australian or some other foreigner, would I care as much? Would I feel exactly the same way? Or is it the fact that she's Chinese is what's giving me this kind of feeling of like embarrassment? I also think that my upbringing has a big part to play in it. My father is French Canadian, and in my experience anyway, French Canadians are very strict when it comes to manners. So for example, table manners was a huge thing in my house. My father took that very seriously, right? No elbows on the table, no chewing with your mouth open, no talking with your mouth open, don't make any noise with food in general. Make sure you know how to use a knife properly so that your knife doesn't slip off whatever you're cutting and make that horrible scratching noise on your plate. Don't reach for things that are too far away. Always ask for someone to pass it to you. Like, there's just tons of rules. And it was taken extremely seriously in my house, which makes sense. I'm glad I was raised with the proper etiquette, I guess, so that, you know, when your kids go off to someone else's house for dinner, they don't look like they were raised by animals. But the bad side is, like, now I'm filled with all these, like, inhibitions and this anxiety, and, like, I'm always super careful about making mistakes in front of other people and trying my best to learn the rules. And that's why, like, I've never been to, like, a Taiwanese wedding or something a little bit more formal. Well, one, because I've never been invited to one. But two, I'm also, like, I just don't know if there are rules there that I don't know, and then I break those rules, and I would just feel so embarrassed. I hate that feeling. But I also don't want to use that as an excuse for not being nice to my friend. And again, because I filmed it, I got to see it and retroactively understand that I don't think I was being as nice to my friend as I could have been. I could have been a little bit more gentle in telling her how things are in Taiwan without having to feel embarrassed or maybe a little bit angry or just shocked that she doesn't know these things. But I don't know. I guess the only person I have to apologize to is her. You know, I always knew that there were differences between Taiwanese people and Chinese people because I've lived in both countries and I've got to experience both cultures, but I was just shocked at just how apparent they were in person. And it makes sense. I mean, I think the biggest difference and the reason why she was the way she was when she was here is that Chinese people have the amazing ability to feel at home wherever they are in the world. And also to Chinese people, Taiwan is a part of their country. And so they feel very much at home here. And so they're able to just do things without having to consider how other people feel. So if that means like getting in other people's way or not lining up or whatever, to them it's fine. They're just supposed to be you know, at home. And that, I think, is a large reason why the Chinese people are considered so incredibly rude. You've probably heard stories of Chinese tourists going abroad and causing trouble and being rude. But the reality is, once you live in China and you learn, you know, how things are done there, it's really hard to explain, but they are just very comfortable with wherever they are. When you go to dinner with Chinese people, they're loud and they want to have fun and they don't want to care about, you know, making too much noise or whatever. It's a very lively place. And if you can kind of vibe with that, then you also feel very relaxed and at home and you don't have to care what other people think. It's kind of freeing in a way. But you know, you also have to understand why that's considered rude by other cultures and other people. I mean, I'm not Taiwanese, but at the same time, this is still my home. So I do hope that when people come here, they try and learn the rules and try to respect the way things run here. Not that they're even like all that strict. I don't really know how I feel about this video or even like my place in the whole thing. And that's why I want you guys to comment down below and tell me what you think. I mean, if Miss Doe, like I said, was American or was Australian, would people be more forgiving and more patient with her that, you know, it's that maybe she doesn't know these rules? Or the fact that she's Chinese makes people a little bit more upset because of the political differences? I don't know. And then also it's like, what role do I play in all this? I'm not Taiwanese. This isn't my country, but I do feel like because I make videos about Taiwan that I do have to show Taiwan in the best way that I can and represent this place to my friends who come and visit as the best way I can because I like living here and I like Taiwan. And I don't know that I did a very good job with this in this video. I think I should have been nicer to my friend. But anyways, that's all I have to say. So comment down below what you think. Follow me on Instagram at Prowsy_SR. Subscribe so you don't miss another video because next week she's going to try a whole bunch of Taiwanese food and see what she thinks about that. Should be a little bit less controversial. And yeah, keep your stick on the ice, stay positive, and I'll catch you guys next week for another video.